This is about the 10th time I've had to tell you white people, Asian people, old people, young people, gay people, straight people, transgender people, Eskimo, Amish, whatever. This is the 10th time I've had to tell you, would you please quit picking on black people? Quit stealing from them, quit threatening them, quit robbing them, quit assaulting them, quit killing them. Quit stealing their work and taking credit for it. I mean, I know this is, don't even bother denying it, because I know it's happening all over the country. I mean, there's been 2 movies about it lately. That movie about the women, the black women who got us to the moon, and all the white dudes stepped in at the last minute, took all the credit. Then how about the black woman who cured AIDS and 100 other diseases today because we used her blood? A bunch of old white people stepped in at the last minute, took all the credit and the money for it. But now, okay, so I mean, as if that's not enough, now we've got 2 stories in today's paper that talk about how white people are always killing and threatening and hurting black people. This white on black violence is exploding all over the country. Why don't we start with the Atlanta Black Star? Impeccably reliable source. The resurgence of stand your ground laws and what it could mean for black citizens. So this article goes on to say about all these laws people have had passed for people in their homes, to protect themselves. Then it says, the legislation allows armed people to use deadly force, invoking self-defense as a justification for killing someone they believe poses an imminent threat. Often, these laws justify the murder of black people by whites. Told you. Oh, you still don't believe me that there's an enormous amount of white on black violence? Chew on this for a while. This comes from The Guardian, one of the big papers over in England. Headline: More black women are learning to use guns. This is a movement, and it starts here. Well, what's behind this movement? Well, black women are feeling less safe in the era of Trump, because everybody knows in the era of Trump, large groups of white people, kind of like zombies, they're kind of like roaming the countryside day and night, looking for black people to rob, steal, cheat, lie, murder, harass, threaten. It's happening, people. And these black women aren't going to take it anymore, so they formed a gun club to protect themselves against this white violence. Let's read some more from The Guardian. Blah, 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 blah. This is one of the people who started the class. Quote, with the political climate being as unstable as it is, black women can be the target. Wow. Then another woman said, yeah, in the last year, I've had all these white people go around calling me, dropping the N-bomb on me. Damn it. She just doesn't have any videos of any of this stuff. Hey, I feel you, sister. I mean, I've been going out with, for a long time. Angelina Jolie has been desperately in love with me. I tell people this, they don't believe me. Matter of fact, she's standing behind this camera right now. Aren't you, Angelina? Aren't you, Angelina? Was she shy? But people don't believe me when I say that. They want proof. The hell with your proof. Let's get back to this article. About the black women. Okay, so white guys are going around the country threatening black people. After the election day, my girlfriends and others started connecting online. And here, we got to finish up with this quote from Niecy X. Niecy X is one of the founders of the Black Women's Defense League in Dallas. And she said Trump's campaign and presidency has changed people's views about what they thought was possible. A lot of people are feeling unsafe. But Ty Shaw, what does he have to say? Another guy in the article, he said, he has all these classes going on, calling attention to the recent political and social climate in Trump's election as driving forces behind the increasing interest of black women in self-defense. Wow. And here's what he really summed it up at the end here. In the past year or so, racists have become more blatant and overt. Like, doesn't that kind of conflict with what Hillary says? Hillary says that it's all covert and hidden and it's all mind things. So I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but here's what I do know. As much evidence as these guys have, they're just not showing it to us. I mean, of all the millions and millions of white people that are attacking and bothering black people and harassing them, I mean, not one, they didn't give us one example in either one of these articles, except for Michael Brown. And, even the Washington Post figured out that was a hoax. It's weird. The Washington Post did a story last year saying the Hands Up, Don't Shoot was the biggest hoax of the year. The Michael Brown Hands Up, Don't Shoot. Then 3 months later, they're doing a story. They do these stories once in a while. They'll go to Howard or they'll go to a black university and they do a story about black people doing something. And the attitude is always at the Washington Post, wow, look at this. These black people are, they can read and write. Who the hell knew? I mean, that's the attitude of the Washington Post. But they did this one story involving a guy who did an art exhibit involving Hands Up, Don't Shoot. They could not praise this guy highly enough for Hands Up, Don't Shoot 3 months after they said it was a hoax. That's how crazy it is. I'm going to tell you something else that's crazy. For all of the stories we just saw about how white people are harassing and killing and threatening and something black people, and of course it's all Donald Trump's fault. We don't have any evidence of that, but we do have evidence of the opposite. We have tons and tons of evidence that black people are really the predators, that everything we just heard was the greatest lie of our generation, the myth of black victimization. Because despite all these little fairy tales, every day we see stories of white on black murder, violence, harassment, robbery. Why don't we look? We've done a lot of these in the last couple of weeks, but why don't we do stuff that's been in the news just the last couple of days, starting with the death of a young lady, the hands of a black man.
So investigating the death of an Evansville woman found dead in Tennessee. 20-year-old Allison Tenbarge is the daughter of Vanderburgh County Sheriff Lieutenant Kenneth Tenbarge. Police found her Wednesday morning after being called to do a welfare check at apartments near Clarksville. Kimberly Davis reports on the latest.
So I had wondered, did somebody get hurt?
Police began searching for 21-year-old Quentin Bird and asked for the help of Kentucky State Police. Officers in Kentucky noticed a mobile home had been broken into at the Rocky Ridge RV Park, and they found Bird hiding inside. Now Bird is on his way back to Clarksville to explain to police what happened.
Norman police released 911 calls made just seconds after an OU student was killed at an off-campus apartment.
Yeah, in the midst of the chaos, witnesses describe the suspects that police now have in custody. News 9's Lisa Monahan is live on the story with new developments in the murder investigation. Lisa?
Well, 4 suspects were booked in here at the Cleveland County Jail, and Norman police say 2 adults and 2 teenagers have been connected to that deadly shooting that left so many at the scene feeling helpless.
My friend has just been shot. I need an ambulance now.
Friends and even strangers were scrambling for help.
We need a paramedic right now.
Within seconds of the gunshots that took down Nathaniel Ewing.
Are you okay? Okay, how old is the person that's been shot?
They told dispatchers Ewing was shot in the stomach but remained conscious in the parking lot of the Willowbrook Apartments.
Are you with the victim?
Yes, I am.
The dispatcher no more than asked the caller to monitor Ewing's pulse when the suspects apparently tried to double back to the scene.
It's here. It's here.
What's there, sir? What do you see?
It's the car that done the shooting. They're turning around. They're coming back to the apartment.
What kind of car?
Everybody inside. Everybody inside.
Norman police have now identified the suspects in that vehicle as 20-year-old Tyreek Turner, 19-year-old Armani Morgan, and 2 teenagers. Investigators believe they fired 2 shots at Ewing and a friend while trying to rob them. Tyreek Turner has a criminal record including burglary and concealing stolen property. He got out of jail just 4 days before the murder, and his alleged accomplice Armani Morgan's past includes drugs and trying to sell them. The suspects are now in jail on a complaint of first-degree murder.
We did this story when it happened over in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. One of the fellas picked out a drunken white guy coming home from a wedding, killed him, bragged about it to his fellas, bragged about it on Facebook. He was just found guilty of it this week. There was another story. Maybe I'll put this one in too. Probably not. It was down in North Carolina. bunch of black people, like 8 black people, killed this white couple. This was 2 years ago, and it was just in trial. And at the end of the trial, the family of the white people went up to the family of the black people, and they start talking about how we're all victims in this together. That's insane. Of course, we've already done stories about this guy in Fresno who was going around looking to kill white people because, well, you know, white people are always killing black people for no reason whatsoever, so he thought he would do a little bit of payback. And how about that story over in Miami? This happened just 2 days ago. 2 little old white ladies, 186, 161, walking around a track. Black person comes up, attacks them, kills one with his hands and with his feet. Seriously injures the other. Do white people do that too? Do they? I think this one comes out of Houston. Group of black people cruising around town, shooting up little, robbing, shooting, stealing, threatening. Miracle they didn't kill anybody. I think one of them got killed themselves.
Group of suspected serial robbers off the streets tonight after a shootout at a fast food restaurant on the northwest side. A 16-year-old suspect was killed, 2 others were hurt, and a 4th was arrested. Authorities believe the crew was responsible for at least, get this, 10 armed robberies in the 1960 area. Eyewitness News reporter Maya Shea live now with what she has learned about these crimes. Maya?
Well, believe it or not, the Jack in the Box already back open. They haven't replaced the windows yet, but that's not stopping the restaurant from conducting business. All good news, they say. And also good news, we talked to a woman who was the victim of one of the robberies, and she said, man, she is relieved that people are behind bars. The 4 young men who allegedly tried to rob this Jack in the Box were finally cornered by law enforcement Monday night. And this time, police say the teens fired at officers. They fired back. When it was over, a 16-year-old suspect was dead. 17-year-old suspect Xavier Cox and another 15-year-old were hurt. And 18-year-old Javalion Robinson, the alleged getaway driver, was under arrest. This is Maya from Channel 13. We knocked on the door, but Robinson's family didn't want to talk to us. Investigators, though, were eager to share that they believe the 4 teens are responsible for at least 10 robberies, including one Sunday night at this Shell gas station and another robbery early Monday morning at this Stripes.
Put a gun to my side and told me to open the cash register, which I did.
The Stripes employee, who didn't want to show her face, was robbed at gunpoint, and she didn't think the suspects would get caught.
At that time, right after it happened, I was concerned that they wouldn't be caught because they were all wearing masks, black. We couldn't identify them.
Investigators say they have recovered 2 weapons, and while the investigation into exactly what happened here is just beginning, they believe they have put an end to this robbery ring.
I feel sorry for their family. They made some bad choices, but you know, at that age, they should have known right from wrong.
Anna, little old white lady who was in her house with her family, hears something in the garage, takes a gun out there. That probably saved her life. She took a gun out there, little old white lady, and told the guy to get the hell out of there. He decided she wasn't serious. She wouldn't shoot him because everybody knows white people are soft. She shot him. And what about down in Miami? Let's stay down in Miami for a minute. What about this story?
Do know Miami-Dade police initially took 5 people into custody. In the end, 4 would face criminal charges. Let's take you inside the courtroom so you can see the only adult of the group. His name, Charles Flowers Jr., 27 years old, charged with 3rd-degree grand theft and fleeing and eluding a police officer. He has been ordered held on $10,000 bond. Also in court, we know there were 2 14-year-old boys and a 12-year-old boy also facing charges in connection with all of this. They were in juvenile court today, and of course, we are not identifying children younger than 16 who have not been charged as adults. Those 3 children will be held in secure detention. Now, all of this, according to Miami-Dade police, started after the suspects allegedly crashed into the side of a building at Miami MacArthur South Senior High School in Naranja. This after they allegedly snatched purses from 2 women in Southwest Miami-Dade. The first robbery was reported by a 60-year-old woman at a bus stop on Southwest 200th Street and US 1. Police say the suspects then drove to Southland Mall, where they snatched a purse from a 94-year-old woman in a parking lot. Here's what one of those victims had to say about how she fought back.
Well, you can't let them overpower you, and you've got to stand up for yourself, don't you? Mm-hmm. And as I say, I fought him back. He tried to grab the purse, and I turned and grabbed it back from him, and then he took it the second time, and that's when I got bruised all up here, on my tooth and my face and my hands. So,
charged in connection with the death of an Horry County taxi cab driver appeared today in court.
Authorities charged Lloyd Portelli III with accessory after the fact to felony murder. He's 18 from Conway. Conway police say David John Bennett was found shot to death Monday morning inside his taxi on Dillon Street. Bennett was 54 from Conway. The judge gave Portelli a $75,000 bond. He's also required to wear a GPS monitoring device, and we just learned he's already out on bond.
News 13's Taylor Herlong was inside the courtroom when the judge granted the bond this morning. After the hearing, David Bennett's family spoke exclusively with Taylor. Taylor?
The family was very emotional after that decision from the judge was handed down. They call the murder of their father, David Bennett, senseless, and they say they're still in complete shock.
I can't believe I'm here right now doing this. Like, it hits me, it comes and goes. I don't know how I'm going to do this now.
Through tears, the children of David Bennett told me the last few days have been nothing short of a nightmare.
I just want my daddy back. That's what I want. My sister came from New Hampshire. She hasn't seen him in 6 years, and she saw him for the first time. It's cold.
Early Monday morning, their father was found shot to death in his taxi cab near Dillon Street in Conway.
It's not okay for anybody to do this to anybody, and to think that I just buried my best friend a year ago, to think that I had to be there for her family, and now I just don't know what to do for mine.
Conway police arrested 18-year-old Lloyd Edward Portelli for accessory after the fact to felony murder. And Wednesday, he was granted a $75,000 bond.
I don't have hate. I don't have a bit of hate in my body. And a lot of people probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but I don't even hate the people, I want to say, that took my father's life.
Bennett's children say now they're left to bury their father, and because of that, they have one message.
Don't take your family for granted.
Just tell your parents you love them every day. Make sure that you tell them, and never underestimate your parents.
Now the 3 say they wait for justice, and until then, they won't have closure.
We would do anything to have our daddy back.
Woman is in jail tonight, accused of pepper spraying an Uber driver and then stealing her wallet. Delray Beach police say Letitia Durham and another woman made a request for an Uber ride earlier this month. Police say when the driver dropped them off, Durham pepper sprayed the driver, temporarily blinding her. They say the women then grabbed the driver's wallet and ran. Police say Durham was out on bond on another robbery charge with a weapons charge as well when the attack on that Uber driver occurred.
Three suspects who weren't happy to see our cameras.
Out on my face.
They also weren't happy to see the police. They're now on their way to jail. Deputies with Fort Bend County and members of the Houston Police Department's Northeast Tactical Unit caught these guys jugging. They followed an unsuspecting customer from this Bank of America on Highway 6, then broke into the car and stole the money. You can still see the glass all over the ground.
We've seen a rise in Fort Bend County in juggings.
Sources tell Channel 2 it's an epidemic in other parts of Houston. Now these criminals are coming into the suburbs and targeting people too. Police want customers to be warned. They suggest doing your banking online or be extra alert when going inside to get cash.
It's really scary. I don't think I could deal with that here.
Now that that's happening in my area where I live, that I'm just gonna be aware and like bring somebody with me and not be by myself.
Let these people know that, hey, stay out of Fort Bend County. Hopefully they'll, get a well-deserved sentence here in Fort Bend County, and hopefully we can put a stop to this.
And let's head up to Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines to me is the canary in the coal mine. We just did a story the other day about a bunch of black people beat the hell out of this lovely white lady on a bus in Des Moines. Wasn't the first time we've ever been to Des Moines, but I'm always surprised when we do stories out of Des Moines. But a couple of years ago, people in Des Moines kind of stopped being surprised at things like Beat Whitey Night, at things like the father of 6 who was beaten and killed by a group of 20 black people. Now let's add this to the list. An Asian refugee from Nepal. We've done stories about them, how they're victims of black violence, relentless black violence in Rochester. Well, this one moved out to Des Moines, where apparently everything was supposed to be safe. He and his wife were both working 2 jobs, so they could afford to send their kids to private Catholic schools. He's sitting in his car, 4 black people come up and kill him. This is Des Moines, Iowa.
Is that I was walking up to East Jefferson Sunoco and got fucking blasted right in my eye. I don't know if you could see the fucking swelling right here and under my eyelid, but it happens. A black dude came up to me and fucking punched me without question, and that was it.
Why don't we close up with this, we'll talk over this video of this black guy robbing a taxi driver. Now, the video we just saw, that white guy getting attacked, talking about how he was attacked by a black person in Detroit. He talked about it for a little bit. Then he spent most of the video apologizing for not being a racist, apologizing for being pissed off. And he was apologizing, oh yeah, some of these people are calling me cracker, some of these people are saying this, some of these people are saying that. So he had to go around, he felt like he had to apologize for not liking it when he got attacked. We don't play those silly games on this channel. We don't apologize for BS we didn't do. I don't want you guys to apologize for it either. The other day, a reader wrote me a letter and he said, hey Colin, I've been really wondering about this. Do you have any black friends? That's the first cousin of the apology game, where instead of focusing on the violence and the people committing the violence, we either focus on, or instead of focus on the victim, we focus on the perpetrator and say, he's a nice kid that, we got a pat on the head. Or we focus on the observer like me and wonder what the hell I'm up to and why I'm paying attention to this. Do you really think people should trot out their black friends like that idiot that lives near me who comes into my Facebook page and tells everybody how down with the cause he is, but he doesn't hang around with any black people, but he brags about all his black friends, not a single damn one of them that are on his Facebook page? You really think that's important? We don't play those silly games around here. That's how we got into this mess of black women forming gun clubs because they say that Donald Trump is encouraging racism and these white people are all threatening them now. Nothing has changed for black people. Their threat, when they walk out of the door of their house, their threat by a factor of 100 to 1 is from black people, not white people. Yet The Guardian runs this story about how Trump is threatening black people and Trump supporters are threatening black people. Really? Okay, I'll close this up with one last thing. I've decided I'm going to increase the... I decided because of this video and the stories from the Black Star and The Guardian, I'm going to double my recommendations for a cure, a solution that everybody says, Colin, you don't have any solutions, so that's why I don't like your videotapes. Okay, I'm going to double my solutions, okay? Because I've been saying one all along. Behave. Here's my second one. Quit lying your ass off about it. Guardian, Black Star, Oprah, people who made that movie about the chicks from Nassau. Well, I guess we really had 3 recommendations for solving this problem, right? I forgot about the third one. Don't make the black kids angry.